Hello again and welcome back. My name is Alden Albino, and I've started a series called How I'm Learning to Speak, Read, and Write French as a Dyslexic. If you saw my first video, it's basically describing who I am and what's going on in Canada for dyslexics, leaving a bit of data there. So in part two, what I'm going to continue on, is how it's affecting dyslexics. So a quick synopsis is 20% of Canadians are dyslexic. The Canadian government's policy is to be able to get a job or continue on in your job, and get further on you must have a bilingual profile that is both written and oral. Now, as I said before, the problem that we run into, and I'm hoping this series will help us all, is that renowned members in the dyslexic world have basically come up with that it's come from either extremely difficult to learn a second language to almost impossible to read and write that second language as a dyslexic. So here's where the difficulty is. That then means that dyslexics will never be allowed to get a government, federal, provincial job in the government at all, because we technically will not be able to pass the government's test to get those jobs. That then comes into the big D word that everyone seems to use when I talk to them about it, is discrimination. And that becomes a real problem when you're talking about 7.4 million Canadians will not be allowed to work in the government. Now, we can turn around and say, who cares? Too bad, so sad. I hear you. Problem with that is that that kind of stuff does not fly any longer in today's society. Canada has obviously and rightly changed its policies about such things. Biggest one of late is the LGBTQ plus, who are 10% of Canadians. At one point in time, they were not permitted to get jobs, which was, I'm not even going to, how horribly wrong that was. And they were 10%. As I said, when it comes to dyslexics, we're looking at 20% of us will not be allowed to either join the government or move ahead in their careers in the government. So, as I said, the big D word comes out, discrimination, when you start talking about those kinds of numbers. Now, the problem that we run into, as I said, you can turn around and say, too bad, so sad, but here's the thing. What I've learned over my short period of time of searching and constantly looking is that I think it's not only a loss to the dyslexics, but I think a loss to companies in Canada and the government. I say this because here's some fun facts. 40% of self-made millionaires in the world are dyslexic. 30% of the people who have changed our very society, our world, are dyslexics, such as Sir Richard Branson, Leonardo da Vinci, Walt Disney, Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs. And if you don't know Mr. Steve Jobs, there's something wrong there. And we're looking at John F. Kennedy. These people, and I'm sorry I did not add women in there, because there are a lot of very amazing women who have made some significant changes in this world and who were dyslexic. I should have taken the time to look that up, and I will correct that later on and mention them. But so it's fair. You could turn around and say that, so sad for dyslexics, too bad, we won't let you in. But could you imagine not allowing these great men and women into these places of business, government, to run that? How less of a world we would be without these people. So the question is, how should we be handling that? Well, I do discuss that in later videos. I have my opinions, and that's all they really are. But this one is basically a quick introduction as to what should we be doing and giving you some information. As I said, 20% of Canadians are dyslexic. How should we treat and handle them, knowing they have so many special gifts to offer employers and the government and Canada and the world as a whole? That is going to be the main crux of how we should deal with this stuff. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say on my introduction to this, but I'm hoping you will follow me through my personal journey on learning how to learning how to speak a second language, in this case French, because to me it could change the face of Canada if what Ms. Susan Barton, and apparently the documentation shows that dyslexics cannot learn a foreign language. That's it for now, and hopefully you'll be interested enough to keep watching. And if you like what I'm saying, or you have something, please put something down so we can talk about it and discuss it. Because I think what we need to do is discuss the issue and find out what's going on. And I'm hoping these videos will help you as a dyslexic and help my school, my teachers, and as I said, most important for me, help my country, because this can become a very interesting Pandora's box if what the information I'm being told and my struggle continues on. Anyhow, for now, thank you very much for joining. You take care. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye for now.